Okay, is this the video where I finish? No, it is not. There's 12 puzzles remaining. That's not what it is. Today's the day I might goldify the window. There's probably a better word for that. Let's see if I can do 3 puzzles today. They're all very hard, so they usually take a long time. But occasionally I breeze through them. That's just how it happens sometimes. It's fine. So we're going to hope I get 3 that I can get through in about an hour total. How about this one? All right, this one looks annoying as hell. Because it's compasses. Compass is not my favorite rule. Precision's good, though. We know pentominoes. Mingle shape we know. I'm going to write down the pentominoes because I just feel so proud of myself for knowing 12 letters of the alphabet. So we know that if we go in alphabetical order, it's going to be I, then L. We know that we have 12 pentominoes. The reason I know this is somehow I magically figured it out. The game didn't really tell me. At least I was not aware of it doing so, so if it did, you need to make that a little bit clearer. But here we go. Mingle shape. I think here is a good spot to look immediately. Because let's suppose I take this piece here and I say it is also this one. Well, now I need a piece where I need 2 more pieces to the right and 3 below. So every piece, that means I can't do this because now I need 2 pieces only, and so I'd have to take this one. Oh dear, I would also have to take this one, right? Oh, I'd be broken if I did that. Yeah, so I think I got to put a wall here, because if I don't, I'm just going to go over that again. I feel unconfident with what I just said. If I take this over here, now I've got 2 out of 5 of the pieces. I need 3 of them below. All of them need to be below. 2 of them need to be to the right. So one of them needs to not be to the right, which means it's this piece. Ugh. So I would end up with this sort of thing. So I think that's what this is saying right here. These cannot be connected to each other. Then these can't connect. These can't connect. Great. These are all different. These can't go, but we could do that just fine. No. If these can't connect. So the question is, can these connect? I don't think they can. If I do this, well, I could do this here. No. I would need 2 to the right, but only 1 more above. So I could do... See, the thing about this is that it's complete, but it needs 1 more piece. And whichever piece it is going to break something. So if I took this here... If I did that, how would I get... Well... Yeah... I'd have to take this piece, which means what? To get 1 more, it can't be there. It would have to be that. Yeah. So I think they're all that. I think that's what I was trying to figure out. Is all of them are that. That gives me how many? So I need 20 pieces, and I've got 16 of them here. So whatever's here has got to go that way, right? It can't go around the other side. So we've got to take those. So this piece has to be... It can't take that or that. So we'd have to block this. It's either a Y piece or an N piece is what we're going to see from that, right? And then whatever's next to it can't be the same type of piece. This one needs to go... But we can't take this one around like so. We could do it that way, or we can't do that, but we can do something like this just fine. Can I get a better shot with any of these other ones? This piece is not going to go around that side. It's going to go through here. So I think this one has to be an L. I think we've got to take an L there. Ha, take an L. That's what I do all the time. This piece now comes out, and then it can't go down any further. The reason being, we've got 2 of the 5 pieces we need. We need 3 to the left, so we need to take all of our pieces to the left. So we can't make an L because there's already one here. So we can't do that. So we can do an N piece, we can do a W, we can do it as a Z or an S piece. But we got to do that at least, which means this one's got to come out. Now all the pieces need to be above it. So it could be an L. It could also be one of these, but it's got to do that. This piece now has got the same problem. It's got to come up, and then it's got to take 3 pieces on the left. So it can be an S piece, an F piece, an N piece. That is all. It can't be a W, because then we got an orphan. Well, if it's an N piece, we're screwed, because then this piece has to be an L. So it's not N. So that means it has to take that spot, because it can be S or F. That's it. It's got to take that spot. If it's this one, what happens? I don't know. How about this guy? If we made this an L piece, we'd have to make that an N. Make that an S, and that would be fine. This would fit. If I said this, we'd be screwed. This needs to get over to the left somehow, which means it needs to go down. Let's make it for a second. It means this needs to go down. It can go down again. We can do something like that. It's not as restricted as these 3s. But that means this 3, we could do that. I don't know. Can't take that. We could do that. In this space, it's a bit somewhat restricted. We need 11 more. If I did this, we would need, well, no matter what, we need 10 more up here. 10. So an entire new piece, just going to throw something in there. Now there's 5. This one's going to take 3, right? Something like that, which means that either we're taking both with that, or we're taking 1 and 1. Which means, my dear Dr. Controller Mayor Shub, that you are the maddest of all. We have to take this spot. If we don't take this, if we put a wall here, obviously can't do that. Now, whatever we do up here, we now no longer have enough space for everything else. So I've got to take that. So we either have an L, an F, or a T. Nope, we have an L or an F. That's it, because we remember we have to have all 3 above. L is fine because we're not touching the other L. Mingle shape is in effect. If I did it with this sort of thing, then I know this would be a Y, which would be nice to know, but I don't know for sure. We could take this with an orange piece and then have 2 pieces like so, or like so. Or we could take this piece here and then, well, if we take that and we take this one, right? Because I have to take 1 more piece that isn't to the left, and only 1 more, so it's either this piece or that piece. And if it's this one, we got to bring that up. If it's this piece, we got to bring this over. So we're just trading these 2 pieces, which means yellow can't go here. Because if yellow goes here, all of a sudden we need to take this piece, and now we have no way to finish this orange one. So, oops, yellow's got to go this way. And now, for my next trick, I don't know if that's that. If this is an F piece, what's this one? If I make this an F, then the yellow would have to move down here. I have quite a few options from that point. Oh, hold on, I need 2 below. Yeah, it's this shape. It's got to be an N shape, so I'm going to change the color to what I usually use for the N's, which means this must be a Y. There we go. We got to have S here, which I like to make this. Let's make this yellow. And so then we have a P shape in here, and everything works out fine, exactly as I just planned from before. So if I do F here, it's fine, but then we have an N shape, we'd have to make a W, which is totally fine. If I make this an L shape, we've got to make a T shape, also fine. So something else is going to disambiguate this bad boy. We can't do this. W, S, F. I know that. What else do I know? Can I know anything from these? This needs 1 shape above, and it can't move to the right ever, so it will take that. And then it has to stop. So now options, we have a Y, N, W, no, it can't be W, P. Yeah, those are the options, Y, N, P. Cool, just write that down. This guy, I mean, you can do that. I mean, it isn't this, but like, because of this situation, but like, we can take any of these It can't be this because then we'd have an L here, we'd have a problem. So it's not that one, but like this is fine. This is fine. Well, because we can't do this here, we have to take, like we can't do that either because again, this piece is screwed. So we have to allow, this is either the orange or the green. So this is as far as I can go. Just take one above. Now, I certainly can't put a wall here because then we have to go around and then we'll never get down. So we got to take that spot, which means I can't make this a W, but I couldn't make that a W anyway. This is a T or an N. Or no, it would be W this way. That would put this here and would do something else. Let me just write, this is L or F. This is W or T. That's an interesting combo. How about U? Can we get anything out of this one? We need 2 above. So it's not going to be a W. If I don't take this piece, we would have another shape here coming out. And now I would never get 2. So I've got to take that. Now if I don't take this one, the only other way to get 2 above is that way. So I've got to take that one. I can't take this. That's a new shape. So I can't take that. So I can't do this unless this is a W. Then I can do that. This is a P or an F. That's what that's going to be. This is a P. This one now has some fun times ahead. It can go anywhere. It just can't go below. This one can go anywhere as long as it doesn't go up, and there's really no way for it to go up anyway. Making this a T. If this is a T, I think we break the puzzle, because now this has to be a P. So this piece now can only take 1 more to the right, 1 more below, and 1 up. No, it's not broken. Because like this or that is all fine. Dang. If it's a W though, this piece has to go here. Now it has to take 2 spaces. It has to take at least that one. Now it could do this, or it could do, it can't do 2 P's. It would have to be like that. Which means I'm always taking this, I'm always taking that piece, right? This space here means I gotta take that one. And this space here means I take this exact one. So that's always part of the red. Which means this orange, I mean, we've got a few options here. Well, I think of it this way. Whatever goes here, it's either this or that piece, which means in here I've got 8 spaces to fill. 3 of them are here and 5 are from the other spot. So 1, 2, and then orange can never get up here, so this is red. So red could be a T shape, it could be a V shape, it can be a P shape. Well, if I make the V shape, then we have this. That would force this to not be Y at the very least. If I do the other way, T shape forces N, which would force this not to be an N at the very least. And if I said P shape here, that forces a P shape there. So this can't be P. So this is Y and V T, which makes this Y N, which doesn't really restrict, because I can still have YN here, it's just the opposite side. Like I can have a Y if this is the N, like so. And the other way around, I can have an N if this is a Y, like so. So I need something to disambiguate this. Oh, this is always going to take that spot there. This could even be a P shape. Who knows? We don't know. This can't be a P shape in any way. What were the options? This is a T shape. Then this is P, and then this is either S or F, which is a couple different things. Now this W forces... Yeah, we can't do this because now we'd have a P shape, so we'd have an N shape and an F shape. So this can be an N, it can be an F, and it can be an S. That is not that helpful. Is there anything? There's no Y's that are touching this one. I'm not worried about that. Can I get anything out of this guy? We know this can't be an L. So I can be an N. I can be an S. I can be a W. Not safe work. That's what this can be. Or an F. This actually can be an F as well. This is not safe for work. Right? Here's your N. Here's your S. Here's your F. Here's your W. All those are legal. Either way, this is a new shape. Putting an N would force a P. Putting an S would not force anything. Actually, hold on. Let's look at this guy. We can't go that way at all. So to get down here, we have to go around this way. So we have to move to the right, which means W is now off the table. So is S. So now it's just not 4. So N or F means we have to take that one. We still have to take that one. So F or N. This is a new shape. It's got to come down. And it can't connect to this one. So if I take F here, if I take N, we have a P shape. That's for sure. If I take F, is there actually any way this is not part of the yellow? If I say this is a new region, we have to come out and then we're screwed because these can't connect to anything. So that's yellow. Is there any way this isn't yellow? If this isn't yellow, we have to go 1, 2, we have to, and then the yellow is not going to fit. So that's yellow. So the question is, this is F or P. Now this forces a P shape. This forces a P shape. Right? This can't be F because then that's F. So no, this is just a P shape. Good work, team. Thanks everyone for telling me about that. This shape has to come down around this way, and that's all it can do. So it's got to go this way. We have a Y shape here. Does that matter? Who knows? We can't take that in, so somebody's got to take that. It's got to be you. So we've got another N shape here. Would have been nice to make this an F shape because it would force this move, but alas, alack, this has to be red because if it's a different shape, we cut off red, which means this is a P shape. Ipso facto, whatever, exacto. Got to bring this out, and then we can have the 1 come anywhere. This one's got to get up into here. We've got to get up. Because if we don't take this spot, we're never going to make it. So we got to take that spot. If we don't take that spot, we'll never get in there. So we got to take this one. And then it's the question, do I do this piece? No. It's actually got to be that one. And then it can't be that. So the question is, do we have a T shape? No, because then we don't have anything here. We've got to take that one. Which means this is no longer an F. It's no longer an S shape is what that is. This is just not 4. This can be an F or an S or a Y. Are we good with this? Can I untangle this knot here? This complete snag. These two won't touch each other. Or won't be the same unit. I can do this. If I did that, we just extend a little further. It's not a big deal. This can also extend down here. It's going well. What if... Okay, I might have to, like, take a guess and see how it untangles the knot. So I'm going to start with the L. The L shape here would force a T. Now what this is going to do is force a P. This is going to force this to be an F, which means what? This is still ambiguous. How about we do the one that's less ambiguous? So if I force an F here, I have to force an N, or a W. Same thing, which means this can't be a P shape. This has to be an F, this has to be an N, which forces a Y and a V. Because this is a Y, this can't be a Y, which means that we'd have to take that spot at the very least. This now can't be an F, it would have to be an S. That would force these to come out, like so. And we can't have this be a what? This has to be an N or a P. This is not restricted. We can make a Y shape, or we can make an F shape. Is that fine? If I make the Y shape here, we have an N. And then we have an N and a Y, or a P and a P. Ah, it breaks if I do that. So we'd have to do that. We'd have to make this F, we'd have to make this P. And then this could be a T and a... Could it just works? Oh no, hold on. No. Let's go back. I am a big doofus. So I need this to move up somewhere. If I made this move down like so, this piece has to enter here, which means this would have to go up. We'd have to have an F here, which would force this to be an N. We can't make this an F. This would be an N. This would be F, which would mean W, F, and we have two Fs. Yeah. In fact, yeah, if I bring this up, yeah, we have two Fs next to each other, unless I bring this up, which would do that. Yeah. So I can't bring that up there, which means I have to bring it up somewhere else. If I bring it up here, that means we have to go out. We have to make that a Y, which means this has to be N. This has to be like that. I think this is right. Let's get some of this so I know these are being selected here. This is an N. So this can't be an N. It has to be an F, which means this is a P. This is an F. Make it a different color. That puts this as a T shape. This is an L shape. Good. I don't know. I don't know if this is right. This will have to go down that way. This can't be an F. So we have an N here. Is this even correct? I don't think so, because now I don't have a way to fill this in. Let's go back. And let's fill it in this way. Can I do this? If I fill in here as an L, I say, now that's an L. Now here's an L. We have to do this. This can't be an N. That means this shape is an L. No. Can't do that. Okay. Something down here is funky. If I take this spot, I can't have an F here, right? Well, what goes... This is... W. Yeah, if I have an F here, this has to be L, which means this is T, this is F again. So no to that. It would have to be a Y, which means this is a T, an L, P, N, and that's broken. So this can't go here. So is this an S? Or something. But if I bring it up here, this needs to move out, which means this now is a Y. This didn't work though. This didn't work for me. I can't have this happen. I need to bring this in, right? If I have this happen, then what goes here? So I need to bring that in. So this is an F no matter what I do. Makes that an N, makes that an F. Right? This being an N makes this a Y. I must be missing something. If I bring this down, this is F. That makes this an N. Makes this a Y. Not a V. So let's try this. I don't know. I feel like I'm guessing now. That's kind of what I'm being reduced to here. That forces this to be a W. This is an F. That makes this an S. And then what do I got here? That's got to go in. This can't be a Y. But this can't go here. That can't be a Y. This doesn't work. So I guess from that we'd have to say that's a P, but this isn't going to work either, because now this is an F, which makes this a T, makes this an L, makes this has to be an S, that's got to go in, that's got to come out, and then regardless of whether I do this or that, this has to move over, so this is a Y, makes that an N, makes that a T. This isn't going to work. Yeah, because if I do this, I have to go in, I have to have two L's next to each other. I don't know where the mistake is. I don't know where the error is. I have to go back to the very beginning. I hate this shit. Alright. I gotta clear the notes. I don't know where the mistake is, so I literally have to start over. That's the problem with this game. I don't think it's fixable. I don't know if it's fixable. There's some puzzle games where if you make if you have a problem, you can go back and you can find it. You can't go back and find the mistake in this game. So let's start all over. That's everyone's favorite thing to do. Alright, this piece right here. There's no way to get around this. We have to have precision, so it's got to be an L shape. That is not negotiable. This is L. Which means this shape here comes out, and then we can't take that. We can't take all these because then that's L. But we have to do this much at least. This shape's got to come out, and then we can't take any more here. We've got to take all of these above. This shape has to come out. We can't take any more here. They have to all be to the right. Great. That much is guaranteed. This one can be an L, but we don't know more than that. Now this piece here is the same as before. We can't go around to get the two. We have to take these. Which we can't take any more in here. This is Y or N. This piece here, gotta take two below, but no more. This one here, yeah, let's do this orange. This piece is gonna take this one. It's gotta get out there somehow. And then, could I block this? I suppose so. But I think I saw a reason why this doesn't work. It's in here. This piece here can't go that way at all. So the only way to get below is to go this way at some point. I can't block this because we'll never get down there. So we gotta go that way, which means this doesn't have that. It means it is a T or a Y or something like this. Maybe an N shape, maybe? But I can't block that. Unless I did this way. That's possible, but I think I'm going to find it's not. Could I take that this way? Yes. No, I can't block. I can't block this piece, I don't think. If I block that in. Well, yeah, I can. So I'm back to this pot, and maybe there's another solution here I didn't see. This has got to move up, but it doesn't have to move up here, does it? Alright, so what did I determine? I can't block it, so it's got to go that way. I need two above, and then one that isn't above. This piece here, I figured something else out. If I block that, would I do well? Now I have 12 spaces in here. I need 3 more there. 2 more here, so that brings me down to 7. I can fill one with a pentomino, leaving 2 more. There'd be 2 more spaces to fill, and this is the only place to do it. So no. So that is the same reason. Mathematically, we need to take this space. Because if we don't take the space, then whatever we do, right? Now we've got to fill these 2 spaces. If I do it with the orange, then we'll always be wrong. So this does have to come up. It's an L or an F. So we're not getting anything new from this. Can I take that one? No. We've got 11 spaces to fill. Again, I need 2 more here, 3 more there. So that gives me 6 more. There's going to be an entire new pentomino. It gives me 1 space that can be used. It won't be used by this red, by this green, or by a new pentomino. So either this piece or that piece will take the spot, which means it's not this one. that means this is the piece. So we've got an N shape immediately. That was the same as before. So this piece here has got to be a P. That's the only thing it fits. That makes this an S shape. That makes this here. So we're in the same boat. What can I do? This can't be an N shape. This has to be a Y shape. So that hasn't changed. That means I can't put a wall here because a new shape here would extend, and now we can't build that out. If I put a wall here, we can't get a second piece, so that is that. Can't have a piece there, we can't have a piece there. So we, again, put a W here? No. Because, yeah, we'll end up with this. So we can't make that a W, so it's a P or it's an F. It's still, we're in the same boat we were in before. So what did I miss last time that I can do here? This piece can't go around that way, so this is the only way to get the 1, and then it stops there. Can't have W, so again, N, Y, P. Those are the options. Can we do this at all? Maybe? Got a new shape there. Now this guy can't be an L, so it's, again, we have N, S, F, W. But the trouble is this piece needs to get 1 below, and it's not going to go around that way, so it's got to go this way to do it, which means now this can be an N or an F. Gotta take that, this has to come down. This now has to come down. You can't take any more. So it can be a P shape, or it can be, it's got to take this space. I'm not really getting any new information here. This one's a Y shape, that's just forced, which means now this piece here has got to take, we've got to have a P shape there. Which means this is the N shape again. This is another P shape. We're not really getting anywhere with this. This is all the same solutions I had before. This piece needs to take... Well, hold on. Again, we have the W possibility. So is there any way... No. Is there any way that this doesn't touch that? It would be that shape and then nothing goes there. So we do have to take this. We're still stuck with all of... It's all exactly the same. I haven't made any new inferences with restarting the puzzle. That's really frustrating. We can't take these. Can't take that one. I can do this. No, I can't make a Y shape here, because then to get 2 over, I do that. This has to be an N, and then we don't have a space left. So I've got to drop. So that's F or S. Like, honestly, what am I supposed to do here? That's got to come out. This has to come out. This can't go here, because then we'll have a problem there. So that's blocked. If we do it this way, we have to go like so. We're in the same boat we were before, and every single solution is wrong. Which means there's something I've done wrong early that I don't know. I just don't know it. It could be there's a way to connect these to each other. I just don't know what that is. But like, it looks like these compasses they all have to be different shapes. Because if you connect them to each other, these can't connect to each other simply because the zeros are everywhere. But this can't connect because the zeros and ones can't connect to each other. The 3s can't connect because you overload, and the 2s can't connect because, well, you underload with the 3s, you overload with the 2s. So that's gotta go there. can't be like that. This can't be like this. There's no way that's going to happen. Can't do that. Yeah, it'd be nice to do that, but that's two P's next to each other. It's not going to happen. Can it be, if I don't do that? Yeah, then I won't have enough room. So we're back to this again. This can't be a P because then we're there. So that can't go there. This has to be here. This can't go there. This can go there. It's either there or there, and then it's either there or there. If I block this, I have to take that spot. And then take that, we have a Y. We have an N, we have a T. Means we don't have an N there, we have a that. We have a P, we have a T, we have an L. If I take this spot, I've got an F. I can't have, I'd have to have an S, have to take that spot. Means this here forces two L's. If I take this, I got two F's. If I take that, I got two F's. So no to this. So if I say this is a P, for instance, that's got to go there. Then we could do this. This might, no. This might work, but then how do I fit this in? We have to do this. Does this work? This works. Let me make sure. We've got a V here. This is a really frustrating type of puzzle. And it's a type of puzzle where the solution isn't wrong in any way, and it's logical to get there. But the main trouble is that I still have to make some kind of guess somewhere. It feels like I got to do that. And so I can get stuck toward the end and not know why I'm stuck. And when I figure it out, I don't feel like it's because I figured out the solution in my head. It's because I finally tried option number 3792. That is not fun. And I think it's an unsolvable problem if you're a game developer, because inevitably someone's going to do a puzzle where that happens. But if you have 1,200 puzzles and hundreds of them have that problem, the game is bad. Like, that's just what it is. I'm going to save that for later. That hurts my eyes to look at. This doesn't hurt my eyes as much and it's more fun. So what we're going to do is, this is area numbers, differences, and polyominoes. All right, that's that. So now we know on this side we have a 3. On this side we have a 3. And so we've got 3s and 1s. That's what we're dealing with here. So 3 is there, 3 is there, 3 is there. Great, good start. These are 3s, these are 3s here, these are 3s, these are 3s. This one is set. We've got to have that go on. We've got to have a single piece here, here, that's there. This 3 can go anywhere we like, I think. That's a 3. In fact, all of these bad boys are going to be 3s. This one's an elbow piece, but I'm going to use the green every time I have a 3 and a yellow every time I've got a 1. So I just know. So I've got to figure out where the 1s go to make this work out. I think this is an interesting premise. I just don't know if it's going to be interesting to solve. Because it kind of looks like I've got to make a guess, unless there's a place I can look. Like, these are just the gimmies. This is just the start of the puzzle. You get the easy ones. Now, where can I look that looks like it is an opportunity? Well, if I take this elbow this way, it forces a lot of moves. It forces that move, and then forces this move, which then forces this move and that move. Forces a complete ring. Is that good? I don't have any other rules that I got to worry about. It forces this ring here, because we can't, these got to be solos, these got to be solos. Forces that, forces this and that ring. And now what do I do here? I can't go there or there, so I'd have to do this. Because I have to do that, I got to do this. And now this guy has nowhere to go. Right? Oops. Did that force that out, actually? Or did I finish that off? Yeah, it forces that stuff. So from there we can determine, am I right? Am I right? Am I wrong? Right, with this elbow, I think that can tell me something. Let me just double check with that. Every time I make a selection, I'm choosing in an area of 4 or 5, whether there is to put the singles. There's either 1 single or 2 singles. So in a place like this, we've got 2 that are filled and 2 singles. If I make the elbow here, then these are singles, so we've got to make this a wall, which means this 3 can't move that direction. Great. This 3 must move this direction because of that. And this must move up. This must move in. We can't bend it, so it must go straight like so. We can't move this up. We must move this. This loop here forces the 3 out. That must mean these are both filled in. So this 3 must now be an elbow. This 3 must be an elbow. Now we're in trouble because here we can't put the 3 in. We can't put the 3 in that way. So all of that to say I was right to not put that in. This elbow can't go there. And also I should make sure that's done. This elbow must... Well, that doesn't really help. It just means I can't take both of those. I could take one of them. If I block, then we know this is a straightaway. We know that goes here. We also know this can't move in, so it must be like so. We would force the loop more like this. This still needs to go across. I wonder if there's just a single loop I've got to do. Right? This elbow... This now can't go that way. This elbow can't go here, so it's like so. That's got to go there. That's going to be an interesting one. Does this force anything? I need to be forced into something. That's got to go up. Means that's got to go here. We can't bend that way. Does this lead anywhere else? Do I have to make a second guess to make this work? Looks like I gotta make a second guess on top of that one. That's not what we want to do. I prefer to break the puzzle a little quicker. How about this direction? This direction, we've got some forced moves here. Got that. Means this has to move up. That's got to move up. That's got to bend in. Oh, hold on. I can make an inference here that I should have noticed earlier. It's that. This has to bend in like that. Those have to connect. So if I bend these across, then that's got to go here. These go. These go. Here, here, that. That's got to bend. Here, that's now that's just a loop now. Can't go that way, so we've got to go this way. We can't go down, so we have to go that way. Can't go down. This can't go up and down sideways now. This can't connect there. We'd have to do this, and now this piece can't connect here or there. So, what we've worked out with this wonderful elbows, we can't go that way or that way. So we have to move up. We have to block this in like so. That has to be our 3's there. So this is now blocked. This has to move like this. And we got to make that the elbow. The thing that I was doing before, yeah. So that's got to be in. That's got to be like so. Got to bring that in. That's there. We can't. This has to go straight up down. So this is now the loop here. That's got to go there. That's got to go down. So from here, what do we know? This is an interesting, clever way to do a puzzle. I'm just not sure if the actual solve is all that cool. It's got a nice little path. I wonder if it's going to be one singular path or if it's going to be multiple loops. If I brought this across, we would really be in trouble here, wouldn't we? No, we would just make loops like so. That would be fine. Oops, no, that's there. Now, if I brought this up and down, we would have to do it this way. Wouldn't be able to go up and down here, so we'd have to go across like so. We'd have to go like this. We'd have to go across. And then this piece would have to be like that, which would be there. We'd have more loops. And now this piece would have to go like so. We'd have this. And now we'd have to bend this way. We'd have to go this way and that way. And this would now have nowhere to go. So where did I make the assumption here? It was like way that one. So it's got to be. This feels wrong as far as puzzle solving goes. No. It would. Who's this? This still makes a loop here. This can't bend down, so it has to bend up. That's got to go there, which means this has to be here. And this has to go there. That is fine. This can't go. This has to bend like so. Is this just it? Yeah, so like, I don't know, it kind of feels like the actual solve of it's not that satisfying. It's a really clever idea, but it just doesn't, it's the kind of thing that if you got 1,200 puzzles in your fucking game, you should start trimming the stuff that does this. It's a clever little idea, but it doesn't go anywhere. And so just cut it. Just cut that stuff. Okay, how about you? That looks too fun. Let's do one. Let's do a different one. That was an eyesore. How about you? Yeah, let's do this one. This looks like a nightmare. 2 regions, great. 2 regions alike in dignity, etc., etc. Well, now what? Suppose figuring out the dead-end stuff around these would be helpful. If I said, alright, we got a dead end here, which direction does it go? Because we can't have checkerboards with this type of rule, so we would have to move this in or down. So if I moved it this way, we'd have to bring this... Oh, hold on a second. If this dead end's the same color as that, I think we break it with these corner dead ends here. Because if this is here, then either we move it in this way or move it in that way, because we can't have this scenario. So if we move this in, well, we got to have red around here. Well, now what's this color? Because if it's red, it breaks. So you say, all right, fine, it's this direction. Well, now this works, but oh, this doesn't break anything at all. Like, it's fine. Damn, thought I broke it. I just know I can't do that. So it doesn't answer my question whether this is blue. If I go this way, can I do it with this one as well? This would break. So, but this won't break. Can I answer it if it's red? Yeah, I guess whatever color this is, it's got to move down or right. Because if we move any other direction... No, that's not true. It has to move to the right. Because I can't, with this corner, whatever this is, I can't have that bend. So this has to move that direction, whatever it is. And I think the same here. If this moves that way, we have a corner around this side. We have a corner around that side. This can move up, though, if it's red. That's fine. Can also move this way if it's red. Yes. Can a red move down? No. Huh. Dang, that's really not helping. I need a thing that actually narrows it down rather than, oh, I narrowed it down from 50 options to 40. That's not an answer. I know these two go together, but that's not helpful because I don't know what color it is. Can I do it with these at all? This seems like a pattern I can use. This was blue. It doesn't matter. If this is blue, it has to move to the right. Any other direction, and we have a problem with that, right? So then we'd have to have red all around here. So what? Red can go here just fine. Oh no, red can't go there. Because then we gotta bring blue around. So this would have to be blue, we'd have to bring red around. This couldn't be red because of what? fine. That can be whatever. So this is as far as we'd get. If this is blue, we'd have all of this settled. But that's if that's blue, and we don't know if this is right or wrong, because we have a lot of options. We can make this blue and do that just fine. We can make this red, and then put the blue around just fine. There's really nothing happening here. It's either like that, or that. So in this case, this can't be red, because then this would break. So this would have to be blue. In this case, if this is how the puzzle goes. Now if this is blue, I have red here. But if it's red, we'd have blue here. We should put blue there, and there. Which would break this. We can't have that going on. So this would have to be blue. That has to be red. That's if we make this blue, which is a guess. I've built the entire puzzle on a guess. I need to see where that gets. I just need to see it break so I know what to do. If I did this, would be fine. If I did that, would be fine. That's got to be there, right? This can't be the way you solve the puzzle because it's entirely guesswork. But like this is the place to look. This is the thing to look at. If I make this red, I have multiple options if I make this red that all work, right? Does this work? No. If this is red, it can't move to the right, because if it moves to the right, then I've got to wrap it up on the other side of blue, and now wherever it goes, it's stuck. So it would have to move up, which would give me blue here, which means I can't take red there, because then blue would wrap here. Blue would have to take that. Red has to wrap around. And now this can't work because no matter what, the solution doesn't involve either of these. It's not uniqueness. So I don't think this is right because of uniqueness. So that means this can't be red. Any other thing with red means that blue's got to wrap around that corner. So it's either this or that. This leads to a non-unique solution, right? See what I mean? Like, suppose this is correct, and we fill out all of this. What is the answer for these two solutions? This is legal, this is legal, this is legal. 3 answers to the puzzle, so no. This way didn't work because we ended up with dead ends here, so that means this is blue. Okay, great. Means it has to go this way. We've got to take this around. This can't be red because of that problem, so that's blue, so we've got to bring that. It's all red. This here wasn't red because then we have that corner, so this is blue. We still don't have an answer for what that is. If I made this blue, this is fine. Then if I go here, we have to bend. Yeah, hold on. If I go this direction, right, to the right, if I take the corner with blue, I can't bend down because the straightaway is broken. I'd have to bend up, which means, how do I get out of here? Because now I'm blocked in this. Oh no, I can get out of here in a few ways, right? I can still take that and do this. If I do this, either that or that. Actually, is there any way that this is blue? Of course not, because if this is red, it moves over, and if it's blue, it's already moved. This is always red. This is always red. That means this is always blue, right? Because if it's red here, we've got it, whereas if it's blue, it's got to bounce out. I guess that maybe we get something from that. It's like it's a nice little thing to know, but I don't think it helps us solve the puzzle. If this is red, we've got to bring this around, which doesn't answer anything yet. If it's blue, we've got to bring this around, which again doesn't answer anything. That would force this to be red, because if this is blue, we'd break that down there. Force that to be red, which forces this to be blue, which means the straightaway is busted. So I think from that we can determine that this is a red dead end. Because if it wasn't a red dead end, then we ended up with that problem where we had this thing happen, an opposite color. So this has to be red, this has to be blue, no matter what. So either this or that. This can't be red now, this has to be blue. Can't have a checkerboard, so that's that. If this is blue, it's fine. If this is red, that's got to be blue. And actually, one second. Do we have to bring this through, or is it sufficient to come through here? Not sure. We can easily do that. We can also easily do this. This guy, if we bring it down, we've got to go this way. If we bring it across, then we have to take all of these pieces, which would make that blue. Which would make this blue. And if this is blue, this is red. If this is red, then this is also red. So we'd force this to be, oops, this would be forced to be red here. But this is all based on a guess of whether this is dead end moves to the right. So that's still guesswork. This would have to be blue right here. Which means if I put red here, I've got to put blue in both of those spaces. Actually, this has to be red because of the corner thing I figured out. But like, we could make this blue and then it's fine. This has to be blue, which means this is red. Am I on the right track at all here? I just feel like I'm wandering around. I'm not even solving things correct anymore. This is red. Hold on, if this is blue, then this can't be blue. This would have to be red. Because if this was blue, we'd have a problem. Because this has to be red now. Yeah, this can't be blue in this particular scenario that I feel like I'm guessing on. Because now this has to be red. This is impossible to fill in. So that's red. It goes like that, which means this can't be red. It's got to be blue, which means that red's got to bend around this way. Red's got to be on this side because of the straightaway thing, which means blue's got to be here. And since we got to wrap around it, it's got to wrap around this way. That's got to be blue now, which means red's got to escape through here instead of up this direction. So I can't block that in. Or it could escape through there. I'm not totally sure. Oh, hold on. But it does mean the sort of wrap around thing. Like if I go this way, then all of these have to be, this has to be blue right here. So we've got to bend through there. This has got to be red. That means this has to be red. This is blue, so we've got to go around that way. And now we're broken. So where was the guess? It was, there. It was this. That can't be right. There's no way a designer said, yeah, you're going to get to this point in the puzzle and you have the choice between these two, and you got to figure out by doing this after solving 50% of the puzzle it doesn't work. There's no way that's right. This must be it, which would bring us through this way. Now we could do that, or we could do this. Either way, well, this would connect just fine. This has to be blue. This has to be blue, which means the opposite side of the corner can't be blue, it has to be red. And if that's the case, depending on where we put blue on the edge, like if blue touches this edge, then red's got to go all the way around. If blue touches this edge, then red's got to go all the way around here. That'd be a useful thing to figure out. If we took red through, if you didn't say it was blue, if you said red goes through here, then this has to also be red, which means this has to come out this way. And now we have to have blue here, so red's got to go there. We have to have red here, which means what? Blue's got to go here, which means this would definitely be a red. This would all be blue. this would be red, just to avoid problems. We could do this, or we could do that, not totally sure. But now this would go here. Nah, this couldn't be blue, because then we'd bring that around, but this would not be able to be anything. So this would be a red dead end. Oops. This would be blue all the way around, so that's red. This gotta be red here, which means this is a blue dead end. This is blue, which means the red has to go all the way around here. Hopefully this is correct. Means this is blue. This is blue. This here is probably blue, because if it's red, then I don't know. Probably blue, because this is a dead end, so we gotta bring that around. Oops, change the color again. So this is blue. It's gotta go through here, and we're fucking busted. I just don't have it. I'm sure there's a way to do this without having to go that far into the puzzle to break it. You know what I mean? Normally, if you're trying to break the puzzle by saying, I have two options, let's see what happens if I try one, you'd see the break. But that was like, you have to go all the way through the puzzle to see the break. And then now, okay, this is the other option. But this cannot possibly have how you're supposed to solve this. This now needs to be red. This still needs to be blue. That makes this go here. That makes this blue. That makes this red. I think we have the same problem as before. This dead end. If it's blue, we have that. If it's red, we have this. What happens in either case? Blue forces this, which is so far so good. Red does not force anything. Oops, that's red. This dead end, then. If this dead end is red, blue has to bend around the corner, so the dead end is blue, which means red's got to go around the corner. And now this is broken? No, this is fine, which means red's here and blue's here. Because blue is here, red now needs to go all the way around, so we did work out this is blue. This now needs to be blue. We still don't know in the case of this bit. This blue doesn't matter yet. This dead end needs to be red. So blue's got to go around. This hasn't changed at all. This dead end being blue would force this to be a problem. So this dead end's red again. So this is the same as we saw before. That's got to go around. Now we could bring this in, or we could say that this is in and then the blue comes... Oh, hold on a second. No. We got to make that. So the blue's got to come in like so. This blue now needs to escape through here. And through here and there. This is really silly. This has to come in here, this has to come in there, which means this has to go here, and then the red needs to connect. That's very unsatisfying. But I did it. Renowned artisan. Gild every window. That's the word. Man, they can't all be winners. That's just how it is. That's just a case of a puzzle just not jiving with me. I don't know what it is. It's just... It kind of felt like that was what I had to do, which was I have two options. I can't tell from looking at it which one's correct. So I got to see, like, if I tried this one, what would it break? And I would try it, and I would have to do half the puzzle before it broke. So it just felt like I guessed my way through it. I don't know. It's just... I get it. Making games is hard. Making puzzles is hard. I'm not going to, like, fault the devs for that. But man, you put 1,200 in here. The thing is, if you got 1,200 puzzles, surely you can all sit down together, maybe bring in some playtesters, play through the whole thing, and then they can tell you which ones are your top puzzles, and you can cut it down to about 300. Or 400, maybe even 500 if you want a big fat game. 500 puzzles in there. And you get rid of the ones that feel random. I don't get why you didn't do that. There's no way, there is no fucking way on this earth that the entire dev team sat down and all the playtesters and everyone they ever showed and every single person said, yeah, these are the 1,200 puzzles you need. Everything in this game is completely necessary and there's no filler. There is no way on earth that everyone said that. I just don't believe that. Because that just feels like filler. And we're in the end game, so I'm out of patience for that kind of stuff. Like, at least with this puzzle here, which... Did I do this puzzle today? Did I do this puzzle yesterday? Well, at least with this one, you could say it's requiring me to think in a way I didn't in other puzzles with the symmetrical thing I had to do. And I'll give it that. Now, it was a little annoying that I felt like I had to pull that out of my ass to solve the puzzle rather than use an inference that I'd built up over time. But you could say that's a new way to solve puzzles. The end game is about that. But the one I just did, which I no longer even remember where it is, it's somewhere on this map somewhere. Here? No. It's some blue and red puzzle. Is it this one? Nope. What'd I do? What puzzle did I do? Does it matter? No, it doesn't. But like, it wasn't that one. Yeah, it's this one here. Like, I don't. Was there a big thing to figure out, or is it just another one of these that we've done 50 of them already? And just, I want shorter games made in less time by people who are paid more with worse graphics, and I'm not kidding. Like, I thought this was going to be a shorter game made by, more people paid more in less time, etc., etc. And it wasn't. This ended up being a gigantic mess of a game that completely blew any chance it had at redemption every single time it had the opportunity. But whatever, I'm going to finish it because we're so close. I got 9 puzzles to go. I'm not going to do them now. It's been an hour. Maybe tomorrow. I won't do 9 of them tomorrow. I'll probably take 3 more days. Okay. Alright, well, it's not something I'm happy for, but maybe the puzzles I got left are really cool. Because there were some cool ones. This one right here, this puzzle right here was fucking awesome. This is one of the greatest puzzles in the whole game. They all should be like this. But they aren't all like this, are they now? And on that note, I will leave you all to your lives. I will see you next time. Thank you so much for watching this horrible mess. Goodbye.